episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. Your boy Captain Mal here, and today I'm joined by...
I've said it before and I've said it again. I'm Weapon 2 coming at you straight out of Earth 616. When I do these videos, I'm always hopped up on caffeine. You know I love comics, and now with TWG, now we're going to review this Aquaman movie, making money for DC.
Oh shit, that was a freestyle sound.
Drop the mic.
And he's out. Oh shit, in case you cared, someone else is here too.
T. Crawler, I don't have the...
Yeah, nothing that good. And yes, we are going to review Aquaman.
I feel like there should be a rap battle. Be like
I feel like we lose.
Bon spaghetti.
I'm gonna lose. I'm not gonna be good at this. But what I am gonna be great at is talking about the Aquamans.
Do it.
So yes, the latest installment of the DCEU, if that's even what they're calling it. They don't know what the fuck they're calling it. They don't know what they're doing. But you know what they did do? Make a pretty good movie. So, Weapon 2, what were your initial impressions? What'd you think?
It was visually stunning.
It was pretty.
Tony the Barber, where I get my haircut at, said that.
I was like, is that a character that I told
That movie? I don't know.
I'm going to quote him. He said that it was like Guardians of the Galaxy under the sea.
Yes.
Which it kind of is. It was bright. If you showed up for Jason Momoa, you're not going to be disappointed because it was Jason Momoa playing Aquaman. And there was plenty of Jason Momoa. So they had a...
It'll also make you feel really bad about yourself as a man.
Towards the end of the movie, you had the Drago team up, which is interesting.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
The other things that I really... You know, my wife said that some of the CGI is going to be CGI. I've grown to accept CGI.
We'll nitpick here in a minute, but just say what you liked.
But what I liked, this is what I really liked. I liked the trench monsters were terrifying. They were good.
Shit, dude, they made me jump.
The trench monsters were awesome. The war at the end with the brine or whatever, it was cool. I can't remember the long name for the Kraken monster, but the Kraken was cool.
Like a Leviathan or something like that.
I don't know why it took so long for Aquaman to make the sharks start attacking and doing crazy stuff, but he finally did that. That was cool. There was a lot of action.
So lots of lot of good shit.
There was a lot of good stuff.
Mostly visual. I feel like Atlantis looked like underwater Pandora, right? It was breathtaking.
It reminded me of like Asgard with all the realms, you know, like the 9 realms.
It definitely felt like this is a section of the world, like Guardians did with space and Thor with freaking Asgard. It felt like a new kingdom, a new realm that we have not been introduced to. Lonnie, what else did you really like? I assume visually.
Visually, like you said, it's stunning, amazing. It reminded me of a lot of Avatar, the color, the bright colors.
Very bright.
It just unlike Avatar, they didn't just dwell on like looking at the plants and all this other stuff. Like you saw it and that was enough, and you're just like in awe because it's so bright. The way they made everybody look underwater was awesome. It's like freaking, like you said, it had a lot of similarity to Asgard and like Thor and what goes on in his whole universe or his realm. But for a lot, it reminded me of Avatar, and then especially when Aquaman came up with the big, I think they call it the Leviathan or whatever. It's almost like in Avatar when the guy comes with the big ass fucking dragon bird or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, so he has this big monster, big whatever the heck that thing was, and it's like, there he is, there's a king, like. Yeah, I'm the biggest.
You don't like big fucking monsters.
More monsters! We want monsters! We want monsters! So here's the thing. So as you probably know, like Aquaman has gotten a lot of shit from haters recently because he's been like the not cool character. When Jason Momoa was cast in BVS and subsequently Justice League, that was like the big turnaround. All those comic nerds thought, especially if you read Jeff Johns' New 52 Aquaman, you're like, hey, like this could be really, really cool. And it's like they knew that this was like their one shot to make an Aquaman movie because they incorporated so much of the lore into this with the Trench, with 2 of his biggest villains in Ocean Master and Black Manta. They're just like throw everything in this movie. But let's start with Jason Momoa real quick. A lot of people told me that like they were worried about his acting and like that he's not that great of an actor in this. And here's the thing, he's not, but he does one thing very well. Fucking Bromoa, right? Like he plays Aqua Bro, and that's exactly what you want in this movie. Yeah. He's believable as a badass, he's believable as a fighter, he's believable as someone you just want to get drunk with. But I feel like negating his acting limitations, which didn't affect the movie any, perfect casting, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
nobody else.
He made Aquaman super cool.
That's what they wanted. That was the point of
goal.
this.
Yeah.
You wanted a goal. Mira, played by Amber Heard, who immediately shot back up to my top 10 list.
Yeah, man.
I loved her as Mira. Again, acting, she was okay.
Easy on the eyes. She was badass.
She looked like Mira.
And then like aquakinesis.
Yeah, the fighting was great with her. You empathize with her character. You see her struggle between doing her duty for her city versus what her heart says.
It's Ariel.
Basically, like Ariel, Ariel who could whip your ass.
Yeah, and Ariel that can take you down just like without even trying.
And so the story was pretty by the numbers. It was your standard hero's journey, someone who doesn't want to accept what his calling and accept his responsibility to be king, doesn't believe that he's a leader, all that kind of good stuff. So like, there's nothing really new. It's not breaking any ground there. But visually, again, I can't keep emphasizing this. Somebody recently asked me, "Hey, is it worth watching in theaters, or should I just wait for it on Blu-ray?" And I'm like, "No,
you
watch
need
it.
to watch this in
The
theaters.
biggest screen you can find, whether that's IMAX, whatever it is. This is an experience. It is an experience that you need to have in theaters. So let's talk about the villains. So the primary one is, so as a nerd, like this is a movie that I never thought was like gonna happen and be taken seriously. So like you got King Orm, Aquaman's half. Spoiler alert. We're gonna be talking about some
stuff. Spoilers.
Yeah. So King Orm, aka the Ocean Master, is the primary villain in this. He's the main antagonist. And we were talking about this later. God damn, he looked right out the comic.
Yeah.
Like they had him in the armor, looking bad freaking ass. What did you think of the Ocean Master?
No, I think it was great. I don't know much about the Ocean Master because I always thought of Aquaman
It was pretty well adapted. It's pretty legit.
Loser. Member of the Justice League. So
yeah, that's how I remember.
I know he's super cool now, but I haven't really got into the cool
you should read the.
But so my impression from the movie is, it was badass. It was cool.
He looked right out the comic.
I'm with him though. Like I remember the old Aquaman. He pretty much they left him.
Am I the only one who's read the new Aquaman?
No, I read it, but I was gonna say I understand where he's coming from, but I also understand where you're coming from because I know the old Aquaman. He stayed at the Hall of Justice. And pretty much, I always make for reference, like, he just made sandwiches for everybody. Like, if we're fighting a shark dude, we'll call you, but other than that, we don't need you. Like, just stay there,
that's harsh.
Do your thing.
I had to stay near a pitcher while I had to stay
I get you. No, but
the new
he's
one,
cool now.
Yeah, he has, the newer one has like a longer blonde hair, he has a freaking beard.
From the 90s.
I've seen the picture though.
He has a freaking
that was from the 90s,
harpoon hand. So they started making him more badass. The last 10 years, he's been like, more badass. They wanted to change his image a lot, and then with this movie, they just completely changed his image. Like, if they could do this with Aquaman,
anybody.
Yeah, and this DC needed this though. With Wonder Woman was awesome, and then you have Aquaman. It's like, man, like they needed to move more movies like this. Like,
so we'll touch on that, but I want to bring up Black Manta real quick. Damn, he looks good.
Yeah, just like comic.
Yeah, you see a character like you hear Black Manta is going to be in this movie, and if you're a nerd like me, you're like, that's cool. How are they going to change it? I'm like, I want him to have the helmet. There's no way they're going to do the helmet. And then you see him, and you're like, oh my god, that is right out the comic book. And damn, if he didn't look cool.
Looked great, overacting.
No, so we're gonna get. We'll get there.
I'm sorry.
We're not just gonna gush. There's some issues with this movie. We're gonna get there.
Yes.
Damn you! Yeah, we'll get there.
The armor and the look of him.
Yeah, cool. And that fight sequence was dope.
And they explained why the helmet was big though.
Yeah,
they explained why the helmet had to be that big.
They give you just enough.
Right. And a lot of things they explained, but they didn't over-explain it. They explained just enough, and it was like if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't understand that. He can only be pierced with Atlantean steel.
Yeah.
Because
I was gonna bring that up too because I didn't know that for sure because the bullets and the grenades and everything. I was like, and wait, he got stabbed by steel?
Yeah.
Is it because it's Atlantean steel?
That's right.
So
because the grenade, he gets up, he's all smoking, he's like, ouch. But yeah, Black Manta says it real briefly. He's like, I couldn't pierce your skin before, but now I have Atlantean steel. Yeah. And that was it. They didn't focus on anything else.
And another thing, like we talked about this yesterday actually, where you have the Atlantean soldiers who are like chasing him down. They have these really badass Power Ranger looking suits.
Well, they were running through those buildings and stuff. That was crazy.
No, so like that was a great action sequence, great tracking shot. But like they had these suits where they had to breathe in water, and then you take the helmets off, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't breathe. And I'm like, well, the fucking the other ones breathe. And then they give you this like William Dafoe, who's great in the movie by the way, is like, oh yeah, only highborn can breathe both air and water. And I'm like, makes no sense But at least you're trying.
But there's an explanation.
It's like the Ruby Cortex and Cyclops' glasses and X-Men Apocalypse. Like, at least you're trying. That's all I need. Hey, you know what? I'm already suspending my disbelief. I don't need a whole lot. I just need you to try this much. That's all you did? Alright, that's fine. That's all I need. So, I think we're all in agreement that, you know, the movie was fun. It was the movie DC needed. You know, maybe not the one it deserves, but it's the one it needed. It needed action. It needed fun. I don't know what it is. That's good. You know, it was a lot of great moments, a lot of visual spectacle. It's making all the money. It's going to be the first DCE film to break $1 billion. First DC film since Dark Knight Rises to break $1 billion.
Yeah.
But
well, here, hold on. I also felt like they were trying to, even though there was some light moments, the story was supposed to be kept serious.
It was a
serious
serious
story.
I don't even care. I'm gonna say it. You're gonna judge me. It's fine. It made me tear up. It did, because the opening sequence when it's talking about Aquaman's mom and his dad and their love and all that, and then the very last shot where he goes to the pier every single day for the last 30 plus years, and she's finally there, and like this love is reconnected. You know what? Maybe it's because I'm gonna die alone, happily on my head. That this actually affected me. I was like, you know what? That's kind of beautiful. It's very nice.
It takes you on an emotional roller coaster.
And that's what
good movies do that.
Yes.
They take you up and down. It doesn't just stay in the same type of.
1000% agree.
Yeah,
right.
Correct. So that's what made it great. I want to backtrack and go back to Willem Dafoe. Like, I just can't get over the fact that he was Goblin in Spider-Man. Like, he was a Marvel character. He was a villain in Marvel, and just have him in a position where he's supposed to be like this good guy that's training Aquaman. It took me a while to just get used to that. I don't know.
You know what's a travesty? They cast him as the Goblin and put that mask on him. Because he's got the most expressive face. He would have made the most awesome Goblin. Sorry!
Fuck it. Not to get too sidetracked, but in for a penny, in for a pound, I always say. Did you see the concept art of what like the actual mask was gonna look like for that movie before they went helmet? The mask looked mask looked amazing. Yeah. Like that would have been better. But you're right. Like he's the creepiest mofo in the world. Totally has the face. We've seen the Joker fan posters. Like, why would you cover that?
That helmet was a mistake.
Well, there's a lot we could talk about. That's a different video for a different time. But anyway,
Aquaman.
So it seems like we overwhelmingly liked the movie.
Yeah,
there were some negatives. Some of the negatives were the acting, kind of across the board, wasn't that inspiring. I'm looking at you, Black Manta. Damn that guy. I don't know if the director, if James Bond was just like, hey, let's cheese it up a couple notches, or if he's just like, hey, I'm all about the overacting. No, but he was way overacting. Like they were trying to actually give him a decent like subplot, like a empathetic storyline with him and his dad, and you just don't care because he can't act.
Right.
You really don't. You're just like, I don't want to see any of this because he's that. Everybody else was like serviceable. The acting wasn't that great. Some of the writing was kind of cheesy. There were moments of missteps in logic where you're definitely like, well, that's weird. And as we mentioned before, Aquaman's not. Momoa himself is kind of like, eh.
And you said that with the acting of Black Manta and his father, like you didn't care that moment where he was going to lose his father. The only thing I focused on was like, damn, Aquaman's going to leave him there to die. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
he's not like Superman. He's not even like Batman. He's like, you know what? You just killed a bunch of,
He's just like, not my problem.
Not my problem. Later.
That just made me like Aquaman more.
Yeah.
And I was just like...
Well, they killed a whole bunch of innocent people and they're minding their own business, so...
Yeah, fuck you.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm also not a writer, but I was just like, this might come back to bite him in the ass a little bit later by predicting this movie accurately. But no, but even then, he's like, help us! Help us! I'm like, but you're not in a Shakespeare play, bro. Like, what are you doing? What are you playing to the upper deck? Like, I can see you. You don't gotta do that. But whatever, like I get. Hey, he got to star in a DC movie and I didn't, so what the fuck do I know, right? So acting issues aside.
Aquaman. Wherefore art thou, Aquaman?
There was
what? Any other issues?
Yeah. So
you filthy apes.
There was one part that got a little too.
You blew it off the hell of Sorry. All right.
When the octopus was playing the drums.
Oh,
too cheesy.
Okay,
but
Go ahead.
That was too 70s Super Friends for me.
But okay, I thought that was cool though, because like you mentioned before, like the 70s Super Friends riding the seahorse, and he's riding a fucking sea dragon.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about cool, okay? Yeah. You made it cool. It was just like,
are you telling
oh my God.
I hear you, bro. But are you telling me if I showed you an octopus I could play the drums, you wouldn't just be like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen?
I don't, now.
What if he's playing like Metallica? What if he's like, Enter Sandman?
Let's stick to the way things are going.
Okay.
It got a little cheesy for that moment.
That was very cheesy.
Another thing that I didn't understand is when the Atlanteans bring up the weapons to Black Manta in the water. They're all encased in water, and they pull out the weapon, and they say this thing runs on water, and it turns to plasma. But then they had to add water. I told this to my wife, and she goes, "Well, if it was a squirt gun, then they'd have to pull the plug out to put the water in." I said, "No, leave the plug out in the case. It's already loaded." So
I didn't think of that.
For reasons. That's all.
there's just little
Yeah,
things.
you want me to explain that? I'll explain that right now.
No, sure, yeah, listen.
You ready?
Okay, I'm listening.
Because...
Wait, I'm all ears.
Shh. Calm down.
Okay, I'm hearing.
Because of reasons.
Right,
Reasons,
you're
right.
right. You're right.
So with the octopus though, it's just one of those things that James Bond said he didn't want to steer away from. He wanted to take the corny stuff, and yeah, a lot of it he made badass. But the octopus was actually I guess in the 70s comic or cartoon there was an octopus. I can't remember his name, but he was actually kind of a friend to Aquaman. That's how corny
Oh,
it was.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, he
And so,
played
yeah,
drums?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, it was a thing.
It's a throwback. It's a throwback.
Can we hear the drums underwater?
Shh.
No, I'm sorry.
If you want to get into that, I mean, there's a
No,
lot of
it's
things
fine.
you can do underwater.
It was pretty cheesy, that's fine, but it was a throwback, so that's totally cool. So the final throwdown was every bit as epic as you would want it to be. There were several shots, especially a shot of him with the trident freaking holding it down over one space, where I'm just like, that's a screensaver. Like, that's a screensaver. That, you know what I mean? Just like these brilliant, just like high-res shots that I'm like, oh, like they spent all the money on this movie. And we were talking about this yesterday too, like when they're talking underwater, like they're not actually underwater.
Right.
It's like the movement that's going on with their
The
hair.
hair, everything.
Every shot of that's an effect shot. That's all freaking
Put
money.
money into this, man.
Yeah, like they were just like, this is either gonna be the biggest bomb of all time, or it's gonna make $1 billion, and somehow it's making $1 billion.
Last I heard, they're gonna make another one. So.
Well, yeah, it's making $1 billion. Of course they are.
Oh, yeah, it's making money.
Yeah.
That's the magic
Say, made a ton of money, never making another one.
But it is DC, so you know.
No, that's
They
what
do
they're
some
gonna
weird
do.
stuff.
They do.
All they care about is what's making money. Their problem is they overreact to the things that don't make
Hey,
money.
and you know what? If you want to know what the rest of DC's problems are, and what was the problem with the Justice League, you can go check out the video that this guy and me did. We did a really good video about what was wrong with the Justice League and DC in general.
Yeah.
Okay, so closing thoughts. Lonnie, anything closing you want to say? Anything we need to cover real quick?
No, I mean there's so much more we can still talk about. It's just there's so much like the lost Land of the Lost stuff that. It's like
yeah,
he
that
went
was
down
cool.
the trench and they came out in this freaking world with dinosaurs and stuff. It's like it reminded me of Land of the Lost, you know. And then his mom shows up and saves Mira and shows up with a crazy mask, and it's like, me, I'm alive. It's almost like
you're expecting it, but it still hits you right in the feels.
Yeah.
The trench actually made me.
Boy, Dad's still hanging out for you, looking for you on the
You feel like you leave with that, right?
Yeah.
The trench made me jump when they're on the
Still
boat
there.
and Mira's there. And they do a really good shot. This is a really good directorial thing where it's like you're following Mira. It's like a close-in shot on her, then it pans back, then it pans back to her. There's like a fucking trench there. I've read the comic. I know what the trench are. I did this. Ah! Just literally just like jumped back, and my non-nerd friend just looks at me like, really? I'm like, it's a trench. You don't even know. Like, run. All right, weapon 2. Closing thoughts.
I think it's a great movie to go see. Might as well give DC your money. Go see it if you haven't already.
Great step in the right direction. Very visual. Go see it in theaters if you haven't. And you know what? You're probably gonna like it. You're probably gonna have a good time.
I'm giving an actual closing thought because last time I just added to this. I just said,
Okay.
hey, what about this? So I pretty much agree with you guys. Closing thought is ditto, basically. Like, go see this movie. It's worth it. And this is like we've been saying. This is the movie DC needed.
Yeah, not perfect, but definitely the movie that they needed, right? All right. So as always, thank you for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe.
Peace!